Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. I'm here with another one of our brand new books. It's called Outside, Inside. It's written and illustrated by LeUyen Pham, and it is a great book. I love the illustrations in this book. Outside, Inside. Something strange happened on an unremarkable day just before the season changed. Everybody who was outside went inside. Look at the difference in the street. Outside, inside. The cat's out there, the birds are out there. Everyone, everywhere, all over the world. Everyone just went inside, shut their doors, and waited. Well, almost everyone. Some people needed to be ambulance drivers, trash collectors, grocery store, firefighters. Some people needed to be where they needed to be, hospitals especially. Outside, the sky was quiet, but the wind still blew, and birds kept singing. Raccoons came out, and squirrels played in the street. But all the cars stayed away. The world felt a little different. Inside, we baked and cooked, made music and watched TV. We read and played games. Some of us worked a little, some of us worked a lot, and some of us couldn't work at all. We all felt a little different. Outside, there were fences, both real and pretend. Swings sat still and slides were lonely. Bells didn't ring and halls were empty. We had birthdays without parties, shared words without sounds, and reached each other without touching. The world was changing a tiny bit outside. Inside, we waited and we worried. We laughed and we cried and we tried to breathe. We made things together and did things alone. We hoped and prayed and wished. We were all changing a tiny bit inside. Outside, the world kept growing. Inside, we kept growing too. That's the thing that amazes me. I haven't seen some of you in a year, and some of you I can't even recognize because you're so much taller than the last time I saw you. So why did we all go inside? Well, there were lots of reasons, but mostly because everyone knew it was the right thing to do, so you would keep your family and friends safe, and yourself. On the outside, we are all different. But on the inside, we are all the same. And we remembered that soon spring would come. Inside and outside. And here's an author's note. The winter of 2019 seemed much like any other. There were holidays and family gatherings, school projects due, and work deadlines. People took trains and buses to work, and planes zigzagged across the skies. We were out and about, talking, eating, and living as we always had. Until something changed. A virus had entered the world, gradually making its way from city to city, country to country, continent to continent. Almost overnight, Everything that had once seemed normal was no longer so. As one by one, to prevent spreading the virus, nearly everyone everywhere went inside and closed their doors. It was difficult to process how quickly things changed. There was a sense, suddenly, that wherever we were in the world, we were cut off. Everyone stayed home, and neighbors next door felt millions of miles apart. The streets and skies seemed eerily quiet and impossibly empty. The world outside felt different. Inside, we felt different too. People with immunity disorders, health issues, and the elderly, including my own mother undergoing chemotherapy and my father at his nursing home, were in great danger. We worried about getting sick or getting our loved ones sick. Some of us couldn't work. Some of us couldn't go to school, even online. Some of us couldn't be there for our families when they needed us. Many businesses closed, some temporarily and some permanently. We had no idea what was going to happen next. It was as if the whole world was holding its breath, waiting. But not everyone stayed inside. Doctors and nurses, the first responders to this pandemic, were on the front lines. With few resources and even less preparation, these incredible heroes rose to the challenge and threw themselves into battling the virus, often putting their own lives at risk. Grocery store employees, delivery people, city workers, and other essential workers compromised their own safety to keep our world running. There were long lines at food banks serving struggling families hit hard by the lockdown. In those first weeks of quarantine, I started sketching moments from each day. It was my way of coping with events as they unfolded. On walks around our neighborhood, I began to notice small things. Neighbors smiling beneath masks and greeted each other on the street. Teddy bears began appearing in windows for children to hunt for. Paper hearts decorated doors and fences. Sidewalks were vibrant with chalk drawings of rainbows, and signs on lawns read, "We are in this together, and we can do this." Neighbors shopped for those unable to and left groceries on doorsteps. Every evening at the same hour, people stepped onto porches or stoops and cheered for those on the front lines. A moment of the day when we were all united in love. Around the world, empty parks saw a resurgence of wildlife as animals ventured out, undisturbed by humans. Without planes and cars, the air seemed cleaner. During this difficult time, people reached across the void to find one another and come together. So much had changed, but those struggles, rather than bring us down, instead brought out the best in many of us. As I write these words, masked people of every color fill the streets to fight against racism and to right the injustices of the world. They face the double danger of contracting the virus and having violence brought against them for speaking their minds. Nearly every face painted in this book is inspired by a real person, from people in the news to family, friends, and neighbors. The images inside the hospital are based on real events. A woman giving birth while suffering from the virus. An older woman, isolated from her family, celebrating her birthday with kindly nurses the day before she died. The grateful man showing through the hospital window his love for the nurses who saved his wife's life. I gotta stop, you guys. You'll have to check this book out. It's a great book.